Day 831 off the grid. Yeah, I know it's getting a bit dark, but I've been kind of busy and I wanted to just do a little bit more today on the windmill project, so I've got something to show you. Here's the pipe that was erect in the garden the other day. I've taken it over here to my work area and I've used the angle grinder to cut this section off. So instead of having that long L-shaped bit, we've just got a short bit there, or a J or whatever you want to call it. I left this bend on the end deliberately because that's going to help me lock the pipe, I reckon. Started out with a new cutting wheel. This is a thicker one, so it hasn't worn so much cutting through the pipe, although some bits look a bit dicey. I think it was one that I found on the ground once. Bit too dark to see, so let's just quickly have a look at these bits. This is the bit I was working on yesterday. This is the bit that the windmill will actually fix to. Today I've been working on a liner for it. This here, it's just a piece of old steel pipe. In fact, it's part of the stand that old windmill fan thing out in the garden is off. It's just lying here on the table. I picked it up, it's still solid enough. So I've just packed it with lecky tape until it's thick enough to slide tightly up inside there. So it's going to be a liner, and then that whole assembly will slip onto there. This little chuck piece here will sort of stop it from sliding down too far, but I'm not going to rely on that. That'll obviously decay in the weather, so I'm still going to put a clamp around the pipe to hold it at the right place, but that slips over just beautifully. So that's basically it, really. On day 831 off the grid, I might do a shot of the pieces together if it doesn't get too dark by the time I've sort of pushed them all in. So we'll see, eh? Okay, as I suspected, by the time I finished with this it would be too dark to make a video, but I've just dragged the pipe over here by the workshop window. Looks kind of cool at night, doesn't it, with the light coming through onto that plant there. Don't normally see inside the workshop from this angle, but anyway, here's the pipe. As you can see, the adapter piece made from the Toyota strut is on the end there. Inside that there's that lining piece that I made, and I did actually bind a little bit of lecky tape around the actual mast pipe as well to give it a really snug fit. Now there's almost no play in that whatsoever. Naturally down here I'm going to put a clamp at the bottom of that just to finish it off, because there's not much stopping that pipe from pushing that bit right off the end and going through. Of course, once the windmill was up there it wouldn't be able to go any further, but I prefer that not to happen. So looks like we're set to go. Just got to get something to use. I want something a bit better than a hose clamp. Maybe one of those U-bolts like I took off the other piece that used to be on this pipe, but maybe a new one, something like that, something solid just to clamp around that pipe and keep it in place. Possibly even drill a hole through and put a pin, but I'd rather not take any strength away from that pipe, because we're already pushing things a bit with using a pipe of that diameter with this windmill. But I think it's okay because I'm not making the mast particularly high, but I don't want to rob any further strength from it whatsoever, so I think I'd rather have something that clamped around the pipe as opposed to something that pierced through it and did it that way. That's about it. All I can really do for day 831 off the grid, but I'm pretty happy with the way this is going.